with it, Casey. So this is gonna be a different time message about like when people try to force love on someone. Like that's just like that's crazy. But like trying to force love on someone, trying to force some type of like, yeah, I understand. Like things gotta be fair, bro. With how like attraction be, like you can't just force love on someone. That I don't know. Like there's a lot to get into it. I'm gonna get into it because like forcing love on someone, you can't force love on someone. You can't force an ugly person to love a good looking person. You can't force someone. So basically, like that's like an example. That's like someone. Let's say you have a parent or something. I don't know. I'll use that stupid example, but whatever. Let's say you have like a parent that tells a kid, "Okay, I want you to be with this person," but then they're not on your level of attraction. So why would you tell your kid to be with someone, or like that's like a friend telling you, "Oh, you should be with this person." Bitch, don't listen to people. Don't listen to them. You gotta be confident in yourself and know who you are. You gotta know who you are. When it comes to your image and sexual attraction. You can't just sit here and let's be with this man or let's be with this woman just because someone said I work with, or someone I go to school with, or someone in my family or my friends, or et cetera, or anybody in society tells me, oh, yeah, I should be with them. And you gotta understand, you can't settle. That's the thing. Like as a person, you just can't settle. You just can't settle for, and yeah, it's like, cause that's a setup from Satan to be with someone you're not attracted to. That you're not gonna be at peace. How you gonna be in a relationship with someone you don't think is the best looking woman or best looking guy? But it just made no sense. That's settling. That is settling, and you shouldn't even want that. And you shouldn't even want that. For real, you shouldn't want that shit. But yeah, I'm just speaking about, whatever I'm speaking about. But like, no, for real. Like that's just the common sense shit, like, and that's a way people trying to, like, that's a way of forcing love on someone too. At that, it's a manipulative way of forcing love on someone. It's called I want to say it's called paid actors type shit too, in a way. In a form, it's like some paid actor type shit, But yeah, I'm like, yeah, like, that's like someone telling me, oh, Casey, that's actually human trafficking. That's same human trafficking in that too, because you telling someone, oh yeah, you can't get with the best guy, you can't be with the best woman. And I get it. Like, some stuff be true, but you gotta understand, if you in Jesus' kingdom, the real black Jesus' kingdom, and you doing God's will for your life, you have that right to be with a girl or a guy you very, very attracted to, like, the most. You have that right. You have that right. You have that right. You have that right. But I'm just saying, like, it just gotta, align with everything, gotta align together to where it makes sense, But like, yeah, it's like people tell you, okay, let's yeah, Casey, you gotta settle, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, No. I'm going for what makes me happy. And to be honest, man, I'd rather bust nuts to the good-looking girl than have sex with the ugly girl. Because, like, come on, it's just sex. All it is sex. That's the thing. That's what people got to understand. Everybody freaking out over something called sex. Something as stupid as sex. Which I'm like, really? Which means, like, I'm not saying sex wrong. Like, if you with God and the black Jesus and the truth and everything and doing God's will, sex ain't wrong. But actually, what's actually you're supposed to do is make love and, like, really get into all that intimacy and affection and everything. You really supposed to make love. But I'm just saying, like I'm saying, like, basically, yeah, you just can't force no type of love and shit. You can't force love. You can't do all that weird stuff. You can't force that on people. You can't. You gotta let people be with who they attract to. And I guess, it's kind of different part. This is a different thing about attraction and stuff too. Is like, okay, let's say this about attraction. Let's say this is something different. But I don't see about this. It's something a little different. But let's talk about this. Like, let's say I'm the sexiest nigga ever in God's eyes. Logically, a girl don't have to see that, but like, you know, a girl don't have to see that. A girl don't have to see that I'm the sexiest for Jesus Kingdom. I don't really care. Like, I don't really care. Like, I'm not trying to, force no type of, let's force a girl to see that I'm the sexiest for Jesus Kingdom or I'm high up in Jesus Kingdom. It's just like, I don't know. Let's say, I'm gonna use this as an example. Let's just say I'm attracted to a girl. She not attracted to me, and she just like, I don't know. There's a lot of scenarios. I'm gonna spit that scenario. Let's spit that scenario. Let's say a girl's not attracted to me sexually, which logically you still gotta accept that I'm the high status for God in the world like Jesus, and that I am the sexiest. Because like, how you gonna be attracted to a dude that's just a regular dude that's not even as high status as me in Jesus' kingdom? That you gotta understand. You gotta at least be honest and repent for that and understand. Hey, I probably should be more attracted to Casey. Not saying, I'm not even saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's wrong, but like, I'm just saying like, you gotta just, understand, shit, like that, but that's the truth. That's the truth. Cause like, that's the truth. That's a whole nother thing about everything about that. But like, yeah, I like what I said about that. But you still gotta understand, like, yeah, that's like, yeah. You may not agree with it, but you still gotta understand, hey, shit. Casey's still sexier than all these other dudes. I just don't agree with it. I just can't see it, but Casey still is the sexiest. And I mean, there's a lot. Maybe they could pray to see it. Maybe they could pray to see it or whatever. Or get into the energy to see what I see. Or see what, I don't know. There's a lot to get into it. But, yeah, I don't know. Or God could change their heart and force them to see that shit. That's some crazy shit. You never know what God could do. Or God could just be like, yeah, we don't care about that. Casey gonna get something better type shit or whatever the fuck. Because they gotta understand they're gonna regret that shit. Like, they're gonna regret that shit when it comes to that. If that's an example, Because, like, you gotta understand, like, why would you be with a dude that's low status compared to the dude that's the highest status for Jesus Kingdom? One of the highest status and legend for Jesus Kingdom. It's just, you gonna regret it. Because but that's how karma works, though. That's how karma works too. And nobody gets away with anything. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so glad I'm where I'm at, because I'm actually me, Patrick, aka Rosie 5, and Tiario Wheat, and whoever else, like whatever, like us, mainly us, like we at the top. We at the top of this shit, bro, in Jesus' kingdom. So it's like nobody can take that away from us. So like, we put in the most work on this earth, man. We are, So redemption is for us, because we chosen for this shit, and we're gonna get what we get, So I don't stress about shit. I'm not always stressing about shit. Like, I'm not like, if it's a situation like that for me, but I have a whole nother like mindset when it comes to everything too. So I'm not even gonna say I'm in a situation like that, but I don't know. There's a lot that get into everything too, but I just be visioning stuff too. But like, yeah, that's how I wanted to say about that shit, about attraction, about forcing attraction, like stuff like that. You don't want to do that. And that's why you really want to be in Jesus' kingdom, because if you're not in Jesus' kingdom, you pretty much fucked. So that means that much love, peace.